Are you a control freak? You might be creating the life you're afraid of. You're listening to Emotional Intelligence Developer. This podcast is going to make some people uncomfortable because we're going to talk about the things you do when you don't get your way, the way you treat people when they don't do things your way, and the consequences that eventually come when people get tired of dealing with you. We're going into relationships, parenting, friendships, and the uncomfortable possibility that you might be getting your way while slowly losing the people around you. Because here's the truth. You can win every argument and still lose the relationship. You can get everyone to do things your way and still end up alone. You can control the house, the plans, the children, the relationship, and the friendship group, and eventually people may stop fighting you. And you might think, finally, they understand. No, they might have just given up. That's what we're talking about today. Are you actually in control, or are you exhausting everyone around you? Let's start with relationships. Imagine you're with someone who suggests going to a restaurant. You immediately reject it. You don't like the food. You don't like the location. You don't like the price. You suggest somewhere else. Then your partner suggests a movie. You explain why their choice is terrible. They suggest a weekend trip. You find 10 reasons why it won't work. Eventually, they stop suggesting things. And then you complain. You never make an effort anymore. But maybe they did. You just corrected them so many times that they learned there was no point. You wanted everything done your way. And eventually, they gave you exactly what you wanted. Silence. That's the consequence of control. You get your way, but you lose participation. Now, parenting. You tell your child what to wear, what friends they should have, what sport they should play, what subjects they should take, how they should speak, how they should spend their free time. You call it discipline. You call it protection. You call it knowing what's best. And sometimes parents genuinely do know what's best. But there's a difference between guiding a child and controlling every decision they make. Because eventually, that child has to become an adult. And if you never allow them to make decisions, make mistakes, disagree with you, or experience consequences, you might raise someone who is terrified of making decisions without you. Or you might raise someone who can't wait to get away from you. And when they finally leave, you might say, after everything I did for them. But they might remember something completely different. They might remember that they never felt trusted. Now let's talk about friends. You're the person who always wants to choose the restaurant. You choose the time. You choose the activity. You choose where everyone sits. And when something doesn't go your way, your mood changes. You become quiet. You complain. You make little comments. You make people feel guilty. Maybe you don't even realize you're doing it. But your friends notice. And eventually, something happens. You stop getting invited. Not because everyone suddenly hates you. Because dealing with your reactions became exhausting. There might even be another group chat you don't know about. And that one is going to hurt. But sometimes the truth hurts because it's supposed to wake you up. Here are some toxic controlling behaviors you need to look at honestly. You constantly correct people, even when the outcome doesn't actually matter. You make people feel incompetent so you can take over. You punish people with silence when they disagree with you. You become irritated when plans change. You use phrases like, I'm only trying to help, when nobody asked for your help. You believe your standards should automatically become everyone else's standards. You struggle to say, I was wrong. You turn disagreements into battles you have to win. And you might say, but I'm usually right. That's not the point. You can be right and still be unbearable. You can have good intentions and still hurt people. You can have high standards and still make people feel like they can never do anything right. So what do you do about it? Here are 4 emotional intelligence changes you can start making. 1. Learn to tolerate things being done differently. Not everything that is different is wrong. If someone folds the clothes differently from you, that doesn't mean they did it badly. If your partner chooses a different restaurant, that doesn't mean they made a bad decision. If your friend plans an outing differently, that doesn't mean you need to take over. Ask yourself, does this actually matter, or do I just want control? That question can save relationships. 2. Pause before reacting. Control often shows itself in the few seconds between something going wrong and your reaction. Someone changes the plan. Your child disagrees. Your partner does something differently. Your friend says no. You feel that irritation. Pause. Don't immediately correct. Don't immediately lecture. Don't immediately send that angry message. Give yourself time to decide whether this situation actually needs your intervention. Emotional intelligence isn't about never getting angry. It's knowing what to do with the anger before it controls you. 3. Start asking instead of commanding. Instead of saying, "We're doing it this way," ask, "What do you think?" Instead of saying, "You need to do this," try, "How do you think we should handle this?" Instead of telling your child what they must choose, ask them why they want something. Instead of deciding what your friends should do, ask what they actually want. You might discover that people have good ideas you never gave them enough space to share. 4. Learn to survive not getting your way. This might be the hardest one. You need to experience losing control without immediately trying to regain it. Let someone else choose the restaurant. Let your partner plan the weekend. Let your child make a harmless mistake. Let your friends choose the activity. Let someone disagree with you. And sit with the discomfort. Because sometimes the problem isn't that things are going badly. The problem is that things aren't going according to your script. And those are two very different things. You don't need to control everything to feel safe. You need to develop enough emotional intelligence to handle uncertainty. Because eventually, you have to understand this. People are not machines you program to behave the way you want. Your partner is not your employee. Your children are not extensions of you. Your friends are not your personal assistants. And getting your way isn't the same thing as having a good life. If people constantly have to manage your reactions, eventually they'll stop trying to manage you. They'll just remove themselves. And that's when control becomes the thing that creates exactly what you were afraid of. You wanted people close to you, so you controlled them. You wanted things done properly, so you corrected everyone. You wanted to avoid disappointment, so you made every decision yourself. And eventually, people stopped participating, not because they didn't care, because they couldn't breathe around you. So ask yourself honestly, are you controlling people because you genuinely need control, or because you're afraid of what might happen if you don't have it? That answer might tell you more about yourself than you expect. And if you recognize yourself in this message, don't become defensive. That would completely miss the point. Use it. Notice yourself. Pause yourself. Listen more. Let people choose. Let people make mistakes. Let things be imperfect. Because emotional intelligence isn't getting everyone to behave the way you want. It's becoming someone who doesn't need everyone to behave the way you want in order to be okay. Sometimes the strongest person in the room isn't the person controlling everything. It's the person who can finally let go.